Victory doesn't come free. It doesn't show up by chance. It's earned, and the price, sacrifice. Sacrifice of comfort, sacrifice of excuses, sacrifice of the easy path. If you want to win tomorrow, you have to bleed today. You have to suffer today. You have to give up the weakness, the distractions, the temptations. So when the moment of battle comes, you're ready. Discipline is the bridge. Sacrifice is the cost, and victory is the reward. Comfort now means weakness later. That truth applies in every aspect of life, whether it's your body, your mind, your career, or your future. Comfort feels good in the moment, but it robs you of strength. It robs you of resilience. It robs you of growth. When you choose comfort today, you are making a trade. You are trading the challenge, the discipline, the sacrifice you should endure for the temporary feeling of ease. That trade is expensive. Because tomorrow, when you need toughness, when you need grit, when you need strength, you won't have it. You gave it away in exchange for comfort, and weakness will be the result. Think about the people who always take the easy path. They sleep in. They avoid hard work. They shy away from discomfort. On the surface, they may look fine. They may look happy in their little bubble of comfort. But when life strikes, when pressure comes, when the weight of reality presses down on them, they collapse. They collapse because they never built the foundation. They never hardened their body, their mind, their willpower. They fed themselves comfort and starved themselves of resilience. And now weakness has taken hold. Every time you hit snooze, every time you skip the workout, every time you avoid the hard conversation or delay the work, you're making yourself weaker. Not just physically, but mentally. You are programming yourself to quit. You are teaching your mind that it's okay to take the easy road. You are reinforcing the habit of weakness. And when those habits stack up day after day, year after year, they create a person who cannot handle pressure. They create a person who breaks under stress. They create a person who is owned by comfort. The world doesn't care about your comfort. Life doesn't adjust itself to your desire to stay in bed or to avoid challenges. Life will test you whether you're ready or not. And if you've been choosing comfort, if you've been feeding weakness, when that test arrives, you will fail. Comfort softens you. Discomfort sharpens you. Comfort dulls your edge. Discomfort forges you into steel. The greatest warriors, leaders, and high performers understood this. They sought out discomfort. They didn't wait for it to find them. They chased it because they knew that only through struggle do you build strength. They chose cold mornings. They chose long hours. They chose pain, exhaustion, sacrifice because they knew that comfort was the enemy. Comfort was the trap that would destroy them when they needed strength the most. Your body adapts to the stress you put it under. If you lift heavy weight, your muscles grow. If you run long distances, your endurance builds. If you force your mind into challenges, your focus and resilience expand. But if you give it nothing, if you give it comfort, it adapts too. It adapts by becoming soft, weak, fragile. That is the cost of choosing comfort. You pay for it with weakness. This is why discipline matters. Discipline is the weapon against comfort. Discipline says no to the warm bed and yes to the early morning. Discipline says no to the junk food and yes to clean fuel. Discipline says no to laziness and yes to hard work. Every act of discipline is a rejection of weakness. Every sacrifice you make in the present is a blow against comfort, a strike against the enemy that wants to keep you soft. And here's the truth. Comfort is always calling you. It will whisper in your ear to take it easy. It will tempt you with pleasure, with shortcuts, with excuses. If you listen, if you obey, you're handing over your strength. You're surrendering your edge. And when the time comes where you need that edge on the battlefield, in the workplace, in your personal struggles, you won't have it because comfort stole it from you. Sacrifice excuses, build discipline. Excuses are the easiest thing in the world to create, and they are the most dangerous poison you can feed yourself. Excuses are the lies you tell to protect your comfort. They are the stories you invent to justify weakness, to cover laziness, to explain away failure. Every excuse you make becomes a brick in the wall that separates you from growth, from strength, from victory. If you want to build discipline, you must first destroy excuses. You must sacrifice them, cut them out, refuse to let them live. Excuses sound reasonable in the moment. I'm tired. I don't have time. I'll start tomorrow. These words are weapons against yourself. They aren't protecting you. They're breaking you down, because every time you choose an excuse, you choose to remain the same. You choose not to change, not to grow, not to progress. Excuses are chains, and discipline is the key that breaks them. Discipline doesn't listen to excuses. Discipline hears the same voice that says, you can rest, and it answers, get up anyway. Discipline hears the voice that says, it's too hard, and it answers, do it anyway. Discipline is action in the face of weakness. People fail not because they lack potential, but because they listen to excuses. Potential means nothing without action. Excuses kill action. They convince you that you can't. They convince you that later is better. They convince you that conditions aren't right. But conditions will never be perfect. There will never be a day when you wake up and life aligns itself perfectly for your goals. That's why you need discipline. Discipline does not wait for perfect conditions. Discipline creates progress in imperfect conditions. And to get there, you must sacrifice every excuse that tries to hold you back. Excuses don't just appear in your mind by accident. They are the default setting of human nature. The brain is designed to conserve energy, to seek comfort, to avoid pain. So when you think of doing something hard, your mind immediately searches for an escape route. That escape route is the excuse. You don't fight excuses with willpower alone. You fight them with systems, with habits, with discipline. When you sacrifice excuses, you replace them with action. You build routines that make discipline automatic. You don't wait to feel like working, you work. You don't wait to feel motivated, you execute. You don't let your feelings decide, you let discipline decide. Think about the people you admire, the soldiers, the athletes, the leaders. They don't succeed because they have fewer obstacles. They succeed because they refuse to accept excuses. They could say the same things as everyone else. I don't feel like it. I'm too busy. It's too painful. But they don't. They cut those excuses down before they can take root. They sacrifice them at the altar of discipline, and that sacrifice builds strength, builds consistency, builds results. Excuses and discipline cannot coexist. Every time you make an excuse, discipline weakens. Every time you act with discipline, excuses lose power. It's a battle, and the outcome determines who you become. If you want to be strong, focused, relentless, you cannot afford excuses. You cannot afford the luxury of telling yourself lies. Sacrifice them. Destroy them. Replace them with the truth of discipline, because discipline is freedom. Discipline is strength. Discipline is victory. Pain today is preparation for tomorrow. Pain is not the enemy. Pain is the teacher. Pain is the signal that growth is happening. Pain is the process that forges strength, endurance, and resilience. Most people run from it. They fear it. They look for the shortcut that avoids pain. But every time you avoid pain today, you are robbing yourself of the strength you will need tomorrow. Every struggle you dodge, every hardship you escape, every sacrifice you refuse, those are opportunities wasted, and those missed opportunities create weakness when you face the real battles of life. Pain is the resistance your body and mind fight against when you push yourself beyond comfort. Lift a heavy weight and your muscles tear and ache. That pain is the price of building strength. Run farther than you think you can, and your lungs burn, your legs scream. But with that pain comes endurance. Force yourself to sit with focus, study, grind through work when your mind wants to quit. That mental pain is the foundation of resilience. Every form of pain you endure today prepares you for the greater demands of tomorrow. When life comes at you, it doesn't hold back. It doesn't soften the blow because you avoided training, avoided discomfort, avoided hardship. Life will test you with loss, with failure, with stress, with responsibility. And if you have not prepared, if you have not experienced pain and built strength through it, you will be crushed. But if you've endured, if you've faced pain voluntarily, if you've embraced it day after day, then you will stand ready. Pain inoculates you against the suffering that is guaranteed in life. Pain reveals what you're made of. It strips away the lies, the excuses, the illusions. When everything hurts, when you want to quit, when your mind screams at you to stop, that's the moment you find out who you are. Weakness is exposed under pain, but so is strength, so is courage, so is determination. And the more you put yourself through pain now, the more you learn that you can endure, that you can take the hit and keep moving forward. Tomorrow's challenges will not feel overwhelming because you've trained for them today through pain. Think of the soldier in training. The long marches with heavy weight, the sleepless nights, the endless drills. All of it is pain. But that pain is preparation. Because when the battlefield comes, there's no time to learn. The soldier who suffered in training is the soldier who survives in combat. The same is true in every field of life. The student who suffers through long hours of study, the athlete who suffers through grueling workouts, the leader who suffers through tough decisions. All of them are preparing themselves. Their pain today becomes their advantage tomorrow. You can't fake preparation. You can't cheat pain. If you haven't gone through it, you won't have the strength when it matters. That's why people break when life hits them. They've been avoiding pain. They thought comfort would protect them, but comfort only leaves you fragile. Pain hardens you. Pain strengthens you. Pain prepares you. Every sacrifice you make today, every moment of discomfort you endure, every ounce of pain you push through, it's all building the foundation for the victories you want in the future. Trade short-term pleasure for long-term strength. The world is full of distractions designed to pull you into comfort and instant gratification. The easy food, the endless scrolling, the quick escape, the path of least resistance. All of it feels good right now, in the moment. But what is the cost? Every time you choose short-term pleasure, you are giving away long-term strength. You are sacrificing your future self for a temporary hit of comfort today. That trade is never worth it. Short-term pleasure is seductive. It whispers, just relax, just take it easy, just enjoy this now. And in the moment, it feels harmless. One skipped workout, one more hour wasted, one more bad choice. But those little choices add up. One by one, they accumulate into weakness. They accumulate into regret. They accumulate into the realization that you gave away your future for nothing but fleeting comfort. Long-term strength requires the opposite trade. It requires giving up the quick hit now for the payoff later. It requires saying no to the easy path so you can build the hard path that leads to something greater. Strength doesn't come in an instant. It doesn't come easy. It doesn't come by indulging yourself. Strength comes through time, through consistency, through discipline. It comes when you choose the difficult option again and again until it becomes who you are. You skip the junk food not because it feels good now, but because it builds health, discipline, and control for the future. You wake up early not because it's enjoyable in the moment, but because it builds resilience, productivity, and mastery. You work when others are resting not because it's comfortable, but because it forges strength that will carry you forward when others fall behind. The trap of short-term pleasure is that it convinces you that tomorrow will take care of itself. You say, I'll do better tomorrow. But tomorrow never comes. Tomorrow is built on what you do today. Every moment you give to short-term pleasure is a moment stolen from tomorrow's strength. The future version of you, the one you want to be, relies on the decisions you make right now. If you choose easy, that future will be weak. If you choose discipline, that future will be strong. The strongest people in the world aren't the ones who always felt motivated. They're the ones who traded away pleasure to build something greater. They turned down the temptation of comfort so they could build the habit of strength. They understood that pleasure fades, but strength lasts. Pleasure ends the moment it's over, but strength compounds and multiplies over years of discipline. Every sacrifice you make today builds a return that no short-term pleasure can ever match. When you choose long-term strength over short-term pleasure, you are investing in yourself. You are choosing the harder path, but the harder path is the one that pays. The weight you lift today, though it hurts, makes you stronger tomorrow. The hours you spend studying today, though they feel endless, make you sharper tomorrow. The sacrifices you make today, though they cost you comfort, pay you back in the form of confidence, capability, and resilience. That is the trade. That is the exchange you must be willing to make. Discipline equals freedom. At first, those words might sound like a contradiction. Most people think discipline is restriction, limitation, control. They see it as the enemy of freedom, as something that boxes them in and steals their choices. But the truth is the opposite. Lack of discipline is what traps you. Lack of discipline is what enslaves you. Discipline is the tool that unlocks your freedom. Without discipline, you are a prisoner to your impulses, a prisoner to your excuses, a prisoner to weakness. With discipline, you gain control over your time, your body, your mind, your future. That control is freedom. Look at your daily life. If you don't have discipline with your health, you won't be free. You'll be chained to fatigue, chained to sickness, chained to the consequences of neglect. If you don't have discipline with your money, you won't be free. You'll be chained to debt, chained to stress, chained to the demands of others. If you don't have discipline with your work, you won't be free. You'll be chained to failure, chained to wasted potential, chained to regret. Discipline is not what restricts you. It is what breaks the chains. Discipline is waking up early so you own your day instead of your day owning you. Discipline is putting in the hard work so you can reap the rewards later. Discipline is saying no to temptation so you can say yes to strength. People think freedom is doing whatever you want whenever you want. That's not freedom. That's chaos. That's weakness disguised as liberty. Real freedom comes from knowing you are in control, from knowing you can rely on yourself, from knowing you are not at the mercy of excuses or bad habits. Discipline creates choices. If you have discipline with your health, you are free to push your body, free to endure, free to live fully. If you have discipline with your work, you are free to create opportunities, free to advance, free to win. If you have discipline with your habits, you are free to focus, free to think clearly, free to execute at the highest level. Without discipline, those freedoms don't exist. Without discipline, you are a slave to impulses, to laziness, to weakness. Every moment of discipline is a step toward freedom. When you set an alarm and actually get up, you gain time. That time is freedom. When you say no to food that destroys your health, you gain energy. That energy is freedom. When you sacrifice the distraction and stay focused on your work, you gain progress. That progress is freedom. Discipline builds freedom brick by brick, action by action, habit by habit. The people who lack discipline spend their lives trapped. They complain, they blame, they resent, but they built their own prison. They built it with every excuse, every lazy decision, every rejection of discipline. And the only way out of that prison is to flip the equation, to stop choosing weakness and start choosing strength, to stop chasing comfort and start building discipline. Because the stronger your discipline becomes, the more freedom you earn. Discipline is freedom because it gives you power. Power over yourself, power over your time, power over your direction in life. Discipline means you can trust yourself to do what needs to be done, no matter how you feel. That trust is freedom. That consistency is freedom. That strength is freedom. Victory demands relentless sacrifice. Everyone wants to win, but not everyone is willing to pay the price. They dream of success. They talk about achievement. They imagine the glory. But when it comes to sacrifice, they hesitate. They want victory without cost. But that is not how it works. Every victory requires a price, and that price is sacrifice. Not once, not occasionally, but relentlessly. Over and over again, day after day, giving up what is easy, what is comfortable, what is tempting in exchange for what is necessary. Sacrifice means giving up sleep when you would rather rest. Sacrifice means choosing work when you would rather relax. Sacrifice means training when you would rather quit. Sacrifice means putting aside pleasure for progress. Victory will not come to the one who indulges in comfort. Victory will come to the one who is willing to bleed, to sweat, to suffer, to endure more than anyone else. Victory belongs to the one who sacrifices relentlessly. The battlefield of life does not reward the lazy. It does not reward the undisciplined. It does not reward the one who only sacrifices when it feels convenient. It rewards the one who sacrifices even when it hurts, even when it feels endless, even when the world offers an easier way. Because sacrifice is not a one-time payment. Sacrifice is a lifestyle. Every day, you are asked the question, what are you willing to give up for the future you want? Every day, you must answer with action. Relentless sacrifice means saying no to distractions. It means cutting away the things that weaken you. It means letting go of comfort that holds you back. It means refusing the short-term reward so you can build long-term victory. It is not easy. It was never meant to be easy. That's why most people never achieve victory. They are not willing to sacrifice enough. They sacrifice for a day, for a week, maybe a month, and then they fall back into old habits. But relentless sacrifice is unending. It does not stop because you are tired. It does not stop because you are discouraged. It does not stop because progress is slow. Relentless sacrifice continues no matter what. Think of the warrior on the battlefield. He does not win because he wants to. He wins because he has given everything: time, energy, blood, comfort, even safety. He has sacrificed relentlessly. And because he has sacrificed, he is prepared. Because he has sacrificed, he is hardened. Because he has sacrificed, he cannot be broken. That same principle applies to every fight in life. If you want to lead, if you want to dominate, if you want to win, you must sacrifice at a level others will not. Sacrifice is the filter that separates the strong from the weak, the committed from the casual, the victors from the defeated. Everyone says they want to win, but how many are willing to wake up when it's dark, to grind when it's painful, to keep going when it seems impossible? That is the measure of sacrifice, and that is what victory demands. Relentless sacrifice is not just about the big moments. It is about the small ones. It is about choosing discipline over distraction hundreds of times each day. It is about rejecting weakness every time it shows up. It is about consistently giving more than you thought you had long after others have quit. That's where victory is forged, not in a single act of sacrifice, but in relentless sacrifice, repeated until it becomes who you are.